Hello, my name is Jennifer Mahoney, and I'd like to welcome you to W131, Reading, Writing, and Inquiry. I'm going to be your instructor for this online section of the course this semester. Before we get started, please make sure that you have a copy of the syllabus available to you. Looks something like this. And it would probably also be very helpful if you also have a copy of the first assignment sheet for our major writing assignment, the one-page writes. Those are both available in OnCourse, and I highly suggest that you maybe print those out or have them on another screen available to you so that you can refer to them as we go along. Before we get too far into introductions, I do want to emphasize a couple of points about online courses. First, if you are taking W131 as an online section because you have some kind of misconception that it's going to be easier, let me disabuse you of that notion now. It is not easier. It is actually quite a bit more work as an online section, simply because oral interactions between a student and an instructor take only seconds. If you have a question in a face-to-face class, you could just come to me and ask, and I could give you an answer like that. In an online section, you have to sit down, log into the computer, figure out how you are going to communicate with me, either by email or through OnCourse messages. Maybe you want to chat. And once you've decided upon the medium, then you actually have to go about writing the information down, asking the question, then waiting for me to respond. And it may be up to 24 hours before you get an answer. So it's a lot of time as an online section. If you are looking for an easy way out of your writing requirement, you may want to reconsider the online section. It's really not going to pan out that way for you. I've taught it as an online section a number of times now, and as an instructor it's quite a bit more time for me, so as a student I'm quite sure it's more time than you would need to invest in an online section. So a little bit about me. My name is Jennifer Mahoney. You can refer to me as Jennifer. A lot of my students in their emails and correspondence with me will just use my initials, which are JPM. And you can also call me Mrs. Mahoney if you're more comfortable with that. I'm not terribly formal, but that's fine. This is my 13th year teaching college English. I came to IUPUI in 2002. I have a bachelor's degree from Indiana University, Bloomington. I have a master's degree in English from Butler University. So my basketball season is usually pretty exciting. I worked as a professional writer for American United Life, which is now One America. I was in their marketing department. And I also worked for Disney for 10 years. Still have a little pixie dust that may pop out now and then. But I have worked in the professional world as a writer. And so I can tell you without any equivocation that much of what we are going to be doing over the next 16 weeks is very useful in the marketplace. It's not just a matter of, oh, we're going to write a bunch of essays and it's all academic. No, this is practical stuff too. We're going to be learning about critical thinking, reading critically, as well as expressing yourself clearly, concisely, in an appropriate way for your audience and purpose. All of those are vital things in the workplace. So over the next week, I'm going to be asking you to introduce yourselves through OnCourse forums. But before we talk about forums and course requirements and expectations, we need to kind of go through the bones of the syllabus. So if you have your syllabus available, you might want to follow along a bit. On the first page up at the top is the usual contact information. I am the acting director for the University Writing Center. So yes, my email address and my phone number and my office number are all there, but to be honest, if you want to find me and you want to get a hold of me quickly, the best place to start is going to be the University Writing Center. I am there a lot. We have 2 locations on campus. One is in the basement of Kavanaugh Hall, and the other is over on the 2nd floor of University Library. So if you're on campus and you want to stop by one of those locations to try and find me, you're welcome to do so. If you can't reach me on my office phone, you could try to call the Writing Center. That number is 317-274-2049. That's listed later on in the syllabus, but since we're talking about contact information, those are good ways to get a hold of me. Our course description, I'm not going to read through that. I assume as college students you all know how to read. And I won't go through all the course goals. Just suffice it to say that we have a lot of heavy lifting to do over the next 16 weeks. These course goals may look simple, but they entail a lot of critical thinking, critical reading, critical writing, and it's not going to be a matter of simply memorizing vocabulary or going through some kind of formula. You're really going to have to think about what it is you're supposed to be saying, what it is you're supposed to understand, who it is you are trying to engage, and why. So there's a lot to these course goals, and I would encourage you to look at them and keep referring to them over the course of this semester and make sure that you are actually working towards these course goals. They are worthy goals. We have only one required textbook this semester, and it should look something like this when you get yours. It is the Allen and Bacon Guide to Writing, the 2nd custom edition for IUPUI. And you'll notice that it's not completely sequential. That's because it is a custom edition. We picked and chose certain chapters that we wanted to include in this edition. But that is the only book that you need. If you find a different edition and you want to purchase that because it's cheaper or whatever, I don't have a problem with that. Go ahead, whatever you need to do, and we'll work around it as best we can. Obviously, since this is an online course, you need access to a computer, not just a phone. You're going to need more than just a cell phone for the purposes of the writing and work that's going to go into this course. At the very least, a tablet of some kind, but a full computer, preferably with Microsoft Office, because that is going to be our baseline program for all of the writing that you'll be submitting. Everything should either be in a .doc.docx or RTF format so that I can read it and so that your classmates can read what you're submitting for the course. The grading is towards the bottom of the first page. It's pretty simple. We have a midterm portfolio, a final portfolio, and then participation and quizzes. Right now we have 2 scheduled quizzes, the first of which is due at the end of our first week, and it's going to be over this introduction and also the syllabus. So make sure that you complete that before the end of this first week. Grading scale, pretty basic. Already talked about computers. Every assignment needs to be completed in order. This is not a correspondence course. So you're going to need to complete things by their due dates as opposed to just whenever you feel like it. And we will have a drop dead date at the end of the semester, 11:59 p.m. on May 3rd. Put that on your calendar, in your plan or whatever you use to keep your life organized. That is the very last day to turn in anything and everything for the semester. We'll talk more about that later. Because this is an online section, your participation is crucial. It's not like a face-to-face class where you can just show up and sit in the back of the room and you'll at least get credit for attending. I can't see you if you're not talking in an online section, if you're not participating, if you're not sending messages, if you're not doing the forum posts and responding to your peers' work. I have no idea if you're really there or if you're just a name on a roster and you really have no intention of completing the course. So you need to make sure that you are participating, and there will be a lot of participation points during the semester. I encourage you to keep track of your points in the gradebook and on course. It'll all be posted there. And so if you see that you've missed something and you're not sure exactly what you missed, you need to let me know as soon as possible. Those zeros can make a big difference later on. So this is not a correspondence course, as I mentioned. It's also not social media. It may feel like it sometimes. I mean, OnCourse is an interface that has some things in common with Facebook and Twitter. Some of the interactions that we're going to be having amongst ourselves and in the classroom online are going to feel a little like, a Facebook chat or whatever. They're not. So this is a writing course, and above all, your writing needs to reflect your university level thinking and skills. So you're going to have to be kind of mindful of the difference between online social media and an online class for a university course. No LOLs, no OMGs, no BTWs, all those acronyms that we all use, and I'm a Facebooker too, so I do it also in that context. This is a different context. You are a university student and I am a university instructor, and your classmates are college students as well, and you need to be interacting at a different level. So just keep in mind that all of the posts, everything that you put into our class needs to be written thoughtfully, and we need to be respectful of each other. Sometimes online stuff gets nasty. I've seen some, I'm sure you have too. You get the trolls, you get the people who are writing kind of disrespectful and inappropriate things, and you just need to be really careful. Make sure that you're thinking about the space that you're in an online class. It's not Facebook, not Instagram. The third page of our syllabus has a whole bunch of important campus policies. These are pretty standard. I copy pasted them from the registrar's site that says we have to put these in all of the syllabi on campus. So I'm not going to read through all these. Most of them should look pretty familiar. You'll see them in all of your classes for IUPUI. So I'll just assume that you have read through all of these. If you have any concerns about FERPA, plagiarism, special accommodations, if you have a disability and need some special attention for that, all of those things are on that third page, and you can contact me privately if you need anything along those lines. All right, some helpful resources. At the top of page 4, I mentioned again the University Writing Center, where you can catch me a lot, and the contact information for the UWC is available there. And that goes into an outline of the major assignments that we're going to be doing this semester. We have reading every week. It's a lot of reading. Again, this is an online course, so you don't have to listen to me drone on and on every week, which will be nice. I probably will do only one more video this semester. Everything else is going to either come out of the textbook or come from different websites. So, because you won't be listening to me, you'll have to do your own reading, and there is a lot of reading in this course. We have a discussion forum almost every week, and you will receive 4 points for your own post, and then you'll also receive points for thoughtful, helpful insights into your classmates' posts. So you're going to be expected to respond and actually engage with your classmates in those forums, and those will be part of your participation. We do have 2 quizzes, as I mentioned. If I feel like the class is not keeping up with readings or maybe is missing a key concept, I may add another quiz later on in the semester. Hopefully that won't be necessary. We will have a few minor writing exercises here and there, but the big ones are the major writing assignments, and those consist of 1-page writes. You'll be doing 5 of those. Then the image analysis essay, which we will begin about week 5. Our midterm portfolio. Then after spring break, we'll start on the summary strong response essay. We will wrap up the semester with a synthesis essay and then the final portfolio. For those of you who have never worked on a portfolio system before, it's a very nice way to give students ownership and some choices about the work that they are submitting for grades. So some of these papers that we're going to be doing this semester, you've probably never written anything like them before. And rather than punish you for not doing it right the first time, in the portfolio system, you're allowed to revise and get lots and lots of feedback from me, from your classmates, from tutors in the University Writing Center, and you don't get an actual grade for those formal assignments until you're ready, and if you choose to submit them in the portfolio. Obviously, for the midterm portfolio, you won't have as many choices as you will for the final portfolio, and the final portfolio counts for more a percentage of your grade, so that works out pretty well. So you will have some options about what you want to include in that final portfolio, and you will have time to polish those formal writing assignments before you submit them for a grade. All right, our schedule comprises the last 2 pages of our syllabus. This is going to be really important, so take a copy of it and pin it to your bulletin board, paste it to the top of your laptop, whatever you need to do to make sure that you are keeping up every week. This is a college course. I'm not going to be standing over your shoulder asking you to submit things. If you miss something, I'm going to assume that you chose to miss it. I'm not going to go hunt you down and say, "Ooh, you forgot to submit this. You forgot to do this." I don't have time to do that. So you are responsible for your own learning in the course, and you need to make sure you're keeping up with the schedule. So it's all parsed out here. If I change anything, it will usually be to push back a deadline or to take something out of the schedule. I won't add anything unless you have lots and lots of advance notice, and I will notify you 10 ways to Sunday if I make any additions or move anything up, which I have never done in 12 years of teaching. All right, so as I mentioned, for the first week we do have a quiz. For all the quizzes, the 2 that we have scheduled and any others that I might add later, you have 2 shots at it. They're not timed, and I will take the higher of the 2 grades. So if you try it once and you don't do very well, but you try it again and you do worse, you will get the better of the 2 grades, even if the second one was not great. So the schedule has the week, and then any readings that need to be done for that week, the topic that we're kind of focusing on for that week, and then the final column is anything that's due. And everything is due each week by Sunday night at 11:59. So you need to make sure that you are using your time well and scheduling all of these activities so that you can complete everything by the Sunday night deadline. All right. Need to talk a little bit about OnCourse because that's going to be our interface for this semester. The tools that I use most often are the announcements. I'll have a weekly announcement just to remind you of all the week's requirements. Then we have messages, and I will communicate with you individually via OnCourse messages primarily. You'll also be submitting drafts to me as attachments in messages or through assignments. And I'll let you know which one you need to do. In resources, there are so many things to help you. We have PowerPoints, assignment sheets, all the articles that you're going to be reading for the one-page writes, and additional handouts that will help you with things like MLA citation and integrating source material smoothly. All of those things are in resources. The forums is where we will do our weekly discussions. As I mentioned, you're going to be getting quite a bit of participation points, and many of those will come out of the forum posts. And our first forum post will open on Monday, January 12th, and that's where you're going to be introducing yourselves to me and to your classmates. In assignments, there may be a few topic-specific exercises. I will announce them at least a week in advance. They'll be part of the announcements and messages. And then tests and surveys, that's where the quizzes will be. And then our grade book is available to you. All your feedback for the one-page writes will be there, and all the points that you're going to be getting for your assignments as well as your participation. I do have chat enabled, so if you have a question and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm probably not going to be online. I have little kids. So you can go into chat and see if anybody else is online. Many of you are taking an online class because you are night owls or you work, second shift, can't come to a regular face-to-face class. So there very likely will be another person online at 2 o'clock in the morning. You can ask your question and get some feedback from a classmate. A couple of things about college writing. First off, this is not high school. This is the next level. The PAT standard 5-paragraph essay is not our highest goal. We're moving up a level, and I hope to be preparing you for 200, 300, 400 level classes, maybe even graduate school. So we're going to be looking for slightly different things than what your high school writing teachers were looking for. I'm going to be looking for evidence of critical thinking, engaging with source material, expressing yourself in an appropriate way for the audience and purpose that you're trying to achieve. That being said, this is not a grammar course. I love grammar. I would teach it, but that's not what this class is about. I'm not going to be correcting every dangling modifier and split infinitive. I have seen grammatically perfect papers that were still terrible. Don't worry too much about every semicolon, every contraction. I want you to use the language that's appropriate for your context. I want you to express yourself as clearly as possible and support every argument that you make with good evidence. If you've done that, you're going to be in very good shape. The grammar and mechanics stuff is spit and polish that comes at the end of the semester. And it does show that you're paying attention to detail. And obviously we don't want people graduating from IUPUI who cannot speak properly or write at the college level, but grammar is a late concern. And I don't want you killing yourself over commas when you really need to be focusing on the fact that your paper has no thesis statement. Those things are more important. All right, let's see what else. Principles we're going to be covering this semester include critical reading, thinking like a writer, and asking good questions. Audience and purpose, pre-writing, analysis, synthesis, thesis, all of those very important things we will be talking about over the next 15 weeks. You'll be reading about these things, you'll be writing about these things, practicing skills. I find this stuff really exciting. That's why I work in the University Writing Center. It's why I've been teaching composition for 12 years. That's why I did it in the workplace. I love this stuff. If you have a question, I will be happy to answer it. And don't worry about asking stupid questions about writing. I don't think there are any. I think I've heard every question there might be about writing, especially through tutoring people. So please do not hesitate to ask me anything if you're confused. I realize that a lot of people think English is really subjective, and if an English teacher doesn't like you, then they're going to give you a bad grade. You're going to have rubrics available to you, and it will tell you exactly how I am evaluating your writing. Yeah, some of it's subjective, but a lot of it really is not. You have a thesis statement or you don't. You supported it or you haven't. Your paragraphs are coherent or they aren't. And it really has nothing to do with, some teachers like this and some teachers like that. No. All English teachers know when something is written well and when something is not written well. And if that's hard for you to judge, then please contact me and I will be happy to talk you through it and explain to you, what it means to have a strong thesis statement or what it means to organize your argument clearly. We will be using MLA citation style for this course, and we'll talk a lot about using sources ethically and respectfully and efficiently to support your points in everything that you write. If you are not familiar with MLA, it's the Modern Language Association's standards for how to cite source material and also how to format your paper. And I have a whole folder available in on-course resources to show you how to format your paper and also how to incorporate sources into the essays that you're writing. If you're confused, there are all kinds of people you can talk to. The Purdue OWL is also an excellent resource in addition to the University Writing Center. And you can also check out all of those resources in OnCourse. They are really good. And I can say that because I'm just linking to them. I didn't make any of them. The University Writing Center, speaking of, they do have online writing tutoring available. Now, some of you are not on campus very much, and so if you want to get some writing help from a professional writing tutor, the information on online tutoring is available in our on-course site, and basically you can go to the Writing Center's website, and there's a link on the front page as well for more information about the online tutoring that's available there. All right, last but not least, our first major writing assignment, which is actually 5 little major writing assignments. They are called one-page writes, and they're called that because they're ostensibly just one page of writing. You're going to be doing these over the next 5 weeks. And for the first one, it's a little different. The other 4 are all going to be kind of responses to readings, articles that will be posted in the OPW forum, the OPW resources folder in OnCourse. And you kind of get to choose how you want to respond. You can argue against the author. You can relate the reading or the topic to an experience you have had personally. You can compare it to something else that you've read or to a movie that you've seen, however you want to deal with it. But basically it's going to be your response to a reading or a topic. These do need to be in MLA style, so if you do decide to incorporate source material, you need to use MLA citation, but you are not required to do any outside research for this course, and especially not for the one-page writes. The resources available include the assignment sheet, MLA handout and resources, the Allen and Bacon book, especially chapters 1 and 5, and then of course the University Writing Center, which can help as well. So the first one that you're going to be doing is actually based on a SpongeBob SquarePants episode called Procrastination. You can get it on YouTube. They used to have it available on Nickelodeon's website, full episode for free. That's no longer available, but there is a clip there, and I've provided that URL for you. Like I said, I have little kids. I watch a lot of SpongeBob, and that particular episode is all about SpongeBob trying to write an essay. And it's kind of funny, but it also gets you thinking about all of the things that can get in the way when you're trying to write, especially when you're trying to do academic writing. And so that's what your first topic is all about. It is all of the challenges that you face as a writer in a college course. What kinds of things do you anticipate might get in the way as you are trying to complete W-131? And that one-page write on that topic is due on Sunday, the 18th of January. I think that's it for now. If you have any questions at all about the syllabus, about course requirements, about me, about on-course, or anything that you are concerned about as we begin this course, please let me know. Again, you can reach me at my IUPUI email. You can reach me through on-course messages. You can give me a call either in my office or at the University Writing Center. Good luck, and I look forward to reading all of your fantastic writing this semester.